Okay, so I played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 without having seen the movies. I thought I was confused about what is happening during the first one, but oh boy. Kreia took that as a challenge as she used confusion and it's super effective.
What?
Ready for me to get everything wrong. But I'm getting ahead of myself. A few goals for this game. 1. To see if I can understand what is actually happening. 2. To find out if I learned a bit about the Star Wars universe from the first game and the LEGO game. And 3. To find out why people love this game so much. Some even more than the first game. Let's begin. By having to install a mod before I could even begin, the restored content mod. Some of you were quite helpful in the comments and recommended that I play with this mod included, as apparently, at its release, the game was basically unfinished and I guess some fans took it upon themselves to finish the job. This though was a lot easier to install than the previous widescreen mods I had to install for the first one, as this one was one click on the Steam Workshop page and it worked straight away. Fantastic! So just like in the first one, this game lets you choose between a few appearances and even choose a class and their attributes and powers. And I thought to myself, this time I won't be fooled like before, as I know I'll be a Jedi, so I'll start the character with that in mind. This meant absolutely nothing, as in this game you start as a Jedi anyway. On top of that, even if I didn't, I don't know if I would call it complaint, but one gripe with the previous game was that I spent all my points into, I think it was dexterity, but Jedis use strength as base attacks. Get it? Because they have to use the Force. And I was quite upset because I spent all the points in dexterity and thought it would be useless once I become a Jedi. And I found out from so many of you that I was just being dumb, as you have a feat that allows you to basically use dexterity as the attack type, so yeah. But yeah, I look for my boy Keanu Reeves. I end up mentioning him in every game somehow, as I found out that canonically he was in fact the face for Revan. But I couldn't find him, with the closest being this guy called Ranis Kavad. At the time of playing, I was even considering maybe one of these guys it's him, but aged. And there were a few things I wanted to show you regarding the process I went through with the character selection, but I had the weirdest glitch when recording. So when recording this game, I used the application KOTOR 2 to be recorded, but for some reason, whatever I was doing was not properly recording. And it's not like it was frozen, look at this. In the background I was actually choosing the names and the attributes, but the screen is frozen somehow, but the music keeps going. I later found out that I had to record the whole screen for this bug to not happen. Anyway, the brief description. I put at least 1 point in demolition, as I have been told that's what is needed to place mines. Something I have not been able to do and struggled with in the first game. Again, because of me being dumb. I also changed the approach for this game. In the previous game, I put a lot of points in charisma and persuasion, but I chose to not do that in this one. I wanted to explore the force powers, so I focused on attributes for force powers instead. Finally, the name. So in the previous game, the character I chose is called within the community Keanu Reeves, as he resembles him. In this one, I went for this model and was wondering how would the community name him. My guess was that he kind of looked like that Star Wars character when he was young, and I was really struggling to remember his name. Also, yeah, I will avoid googling anything about this game or Star Wars in general when these things happen, as I feel like that would be quite disingenuous for the challenge I set myself to. So because of that, I was actually going to give up on the name and choose a different one, but for some reason the name came to me. And I might be completely wrong, but I think it was young Obi-Wan Kenobi that this guy reminds me of. And to the extent of my knowledge so far, the first game happened before the movies, probably even thousands of years before. As such, this guy will be called Kenny B. Sr., the great-great-great-grandfather of Obi-Wan Kenobi. With all that introduction out of the way, let's get to the introduction. Apparently the Siths annihilated almost all the Jedis and I'm the last one? Wait, but I thought the last game ended on a good ending canonically. Maybe it did not? And so the scene cuts to the Ebon Hawk being completely damaged, our character in a critical condition in the medical bay, and an old lady laying on the floor. The ship is so damaged that it cannot hyperdrive anymore, so our only choice is to go have the small droid repair the ship as much as possible to get us on Peragus, which is a nearby mining planet. As I control the droid to do that, the game froze. It was working, but I could not move at all around, so I restarted it and tried again. Then it happened again. Later on I did find out the reason why. So game developers, please correct me if I'm wrong on this one. Older games for some reason have the game logic tied to the amount of frames per second you have. Now, for a long time the standard was 60 frames per second, so that did not cause any issues, but nowadays a lot of monitors have 144Hz refresh rate, meaning the frames can refresh on your monitor 144 times, which is more than double. And quite a few games that had the game logic on 60 frames per second got some funky interactions when trying to play them on 144 frames per second. I believe Bethesda titles had that issue at least with Skyrim. Anyway, I changed the refresh rate to 60Hz and that seems to have fixed the issue later on. So we get to Paragus, where we awaken in a KOTOR healing tank. And this was the first sign that I did in fact learn a bit about Star Wars lore. Or I might be completely wrong here, but I thought, wait, isn't the KOTOR substance the one mined from the water planet in the first game? I should mention this now, but the way I will go about this game is that throughout my playthrough I wrote a lot of notes of my thoughts and feelings of the situation at the time. That way you can see the thought, or lack thereof, process in my head and if it ended up being the correct one or not. And as I roam around, I get to the morgue? Okay. Where the old lady from the Ebon Hawk awakens and starts talking to us. She's saying she's our rescuer and we are hers and asks us if we can recall what happened. Matter of fact, no, I don't, Kreia. Can you illuminate me? Actually, you know what? Scrap that. If there's one thing the first game taught me is that I shouldn't believe what I'm told anyway. The whole first game was Knights of the Gaslighter's Republic. Also, in my notes I wrote, great, the old lady is hiding her eyes. Suspicious indeed. As such, we just agree to help each other leave this planet. And the way she helps is to stay behind and communicate with us telepathically. Okay, maybe she's not the battle type, she's an old lady after all, I can forgive her for not helping me here. So I go alone around on this mining station and battle with the only things left on this planet. Mining droids. No signs of life. Besides this character Atton, who I was certain will become our first companion. And this guy reveals a bit about the timeline of this story, and it also makes me confused. He says that the exchange placed a bounty on Jedis and that there's not a lot of Jedis left. Would be a shame if what they think is the last Jedi would turn into a Sith too. And to that end, let me tell you what I have decided. In the previous game, I went full light side and I ended up disagreeing with the choices the Jedis took, even to the point of not trusting them fully. So combine that with how fun the Sith powers sound and the decision was made. In this game, Obi-Wan Kenobi's grandfather will become a Sith Lord. I think it's only fair I experience both sides. Coming back to Atton, he confirms the timeline of the game a bit. The Mandalorian Wars have already happened and there was also this Jedi Civil War? I didn't know what that was at this point. He also says that after Revan lost their memory, they returned to pay Malek back for trying to kill her? I thought the canon one was Keanu, not a lady, I'm a bit confused. Or maybe Atton is the one confused, as when I asked him if Revan was a girl, he seems uncertain. I think this may just be left there in the case that players of the first one chose the female character. After going through the station a bit more, I find out a bit more details about my character. We were a Jedi that served under Revan during the Mandalorian Wars, and the current timeline is 10 years after the Mandalorian Wars, so it's not too far in the future. This made me go, wait, how did we end up on the Ebon Hawk then? Absolutely no clue yet, but I also found out what happened on this mining station. Why is there no one here left alive? Well, I think because of me, in a way. Me arriving here created a civil war, I think, as the people started realizing I was a Jedi and half of the people wanted to sell me to Nar Shaddaa and half of the people refused. Hear me out, okay? I don't know anything about Star Wars, so I shall be excused for this one. In my notes I wrote, who is this Nar Shaddaa? Yeah, in my mind that was a person. But anyway, we continue and I have to put on a spacesuit to go around the blocked path, and the only thing I can think of is... whoa, they made the spacesuit much faster. But the animation looks kind of silly, so maybe it's part of the mod thing? Also, I guess a Sith Lord just landed on this planet, so we're about to meet them. Now that I finished the game, I think it's quite interesting to look back at the amount of details I missed regarding the events of the game. I think because I was trying to understand how this game works and what the different characters are saying, I sometimes completely ignored the details that I thought were small and irrelevant, but in fact had huge implications on the story. For example, to me, this mining station didn't represent too much in the grand scheme of things. Just a mining planet I was supposed to get out of, only to realize later on how important this planet is to the narrative of the game. This is where the majority of the fuel for spaceships in this area of the galaxy seems to be extracted from. And this seemingly random civil war was basically orchestrated by people who knew a lot more about what is happening. For now though, Kreia felt a disturbance in the force, I guess, as she says we must leave this place at once as the one that fired on the Ebon Hawk has arrived. Okay, who is this enemy? Ah, we don't have time for an explanation. Okay, I'm sure later on you'll explain everything. But I'm a Sith, old lady, and as a Sith, I won't just do as you tell me. We are not leaving this planet. There is no we. You'll stay behind. Or maybe not, as she reveals, she's the only one that has the means to access the Ebon's Hawk Navi computer, so without her we cannot leave? Wait, I thought I was the one that had the Ebon Hawk, not you. I'm even more confused now, but I had a bigger question at this point. So as I decided to go for the Sith route, I was thinking, I wonder how my companions are even going to keep up with me. For now, Atan and this lady seem quite light-sided. Will they leave the party if I go too far into the dark side? I am sure to find out. For now though, we infiltrate this Harbinger ship that just landed and we find some holograms that suggest the Old Republic ordered this ship to pick up some passengers from the Outer Rim and take them to Telos. This became a much higher priority than patrolling around the Onderon. And the thing is, at this point, these names meant nothing to me. Even now, after I'm finishing the game, I'm still a bit confused looking back at the footage. I have learned some planet names, Dantooine, Tatooine, Nar Shaddaa, but there are just so many of them that unless I get a description of the planet, I have no idea what any of them are. And at the time I had this suspicion that we were the person they were transporting to Telos, but they said passengers, not passenger. So who's the other one? Maybe Kreia? But then how did we end up on the Ebon Hawk? The hologram said that as they were traveling to Telos, they encountered a distress signal from a damaged vessel, probably the Ebon Hawk, and they are chased by the Sith. The captain of the ship asks for permission to divert from Telos to check the signal, and it got accepted. By who? None other than Kart himself, who became an admiral of the Republic. Hell yeah, our boy going up in ranks. Which was interesting in a way. Because going into this game I was thinking we'd have the same party to recruit, so I could explore the story of the party a bit more, but as I recruited Atan and Kreia, it seemed to me that there will only be new people to recruit. Anyway, the reason why Kart allowed this is because he found out a distress signal came from the Ebon Hawk, and as such, he's quite interested in it. Now before we proceed, I end up in my quarters where I was kept in this Harbinger ship, and so I went to check it, and found a few interesting things. My datapad and my armband. Alright, let's check them out. Based on the details of the armband, it seems that after the Mandalorian Wars were concluded, we were exiled from the Jedi Order. Interesting. And as we approach the exit, the Sith Lord appears. And instead of fighting him, Kreia says this battle is only hers and that she's not defenseless and proceeds to run and fight him. So I stay there for a second and think, normally I'd be like, no, let me help you. But I have to remember I'm the bad guy now, so screw you lady, I'm getting out of here. As we escape, I get a cutscene that reveals that this old lady is the mentor of the Sith Lord and has betrayed her. And he's quite pissed, saying Kreia proves herself quite difficult to kill. To which Kreia replies with something quite interesting herself. To have fallen so far and learned nothing, that is your failing. Now past me thought nothing much of this, but let me tell you this. Future me is still considering the implications, even as I write this. I'll get to it later. He believes that she's a fool for running to one of the only Jedis left alive and that he alone cannot stop the darkness that is to come. Again, past me just thought of this as a generic villain dialogue, but And then he proceeds to cut her hand. Why do people in the Star Wars universe keep losing their hand? Whilst that is happening, our little team of Aton and a small droid made it to the hangar where the Ebon Hawk is, and we board it but get ambushed by a new type of enemies that look very shiny and have to shoot them down with a turret. You left click to shoot and it's quite slow, but you can also right click to shoot and it's quite slow. Or you can spam left and right click in a sequence and make it a fully automated turret. So we get rid of the enemies and prepare to leave this planet. And as we do, Kreia appears on the ship, somehow, when I get an achievement. Dancing Queen, with the description, Dance for Voga. And all I could think of was, who in the world is Voga? I have literally zero clue who Voga is and I did not dance for anyone, what? But yeah, Kreia is here and is missing a hand, so maybe she can't dual wield anymore? And the first big choice I had to make was how to leave this planet, as we are being pursued, and I was surprised that I was actually able to just destroy the whole planet to do that. That did not make Aton happy as he started being sassy.
Assassin droids, a Sith Lord that looks like he sleeps with vibroblades, and being target practice for a Republic warship, I was better off in myself.
Both me and Kreia proceed to ignore him though, as I have a few questions. Mainly, what in the world happened to the Jedis? She confirms that there has been a Jedi civil war that destroyed the Jedi and that many fell into battle and even more got seduced by Revan's teachings and joined the dark side. Okay, maybe the good ending was not canon? Maybe it was the dark ending? Right, so what exactly was this Jedi civil war? Well, from my understanding, following the events of the first game, I guess a lot of Jedis blamed the teachings of the Jedi Masters for Revan's fall, which created a divide between the Jedis. And you know what? I feel very vindicated by this. This is fantastic writing. What I thought was just silly light side, oh, we need to be the good guys mentality is actually being criticized and leads to a whole civil war. It's taking the cliché and throws it upside down. Like, no, maybe being peaceful and not helping did actually hurt, and maybe the Jedi should have helped during the Mandalorian Wars. This is awesome. Also, random thought I had was, she's not going to be happy learning the last Jedi will in fact not be a Jedi at all. Future me here, I don't think she minded. One thing that I find confusing, and to be honest with you I found it quite confusing for the whole game, is this whole idea of being synced with someone. For one reason or another, my main character is linked with this Kreia lady. So much so that when she lost her hand, my character felt the pain too. So I asked Kreia about it but didn't find too many answers. Why are we linked? Can we sever the link? What happens if one of us dies? No concrete answers from this lady. And so because I wasn't getting any answers regarding that, I wanted to ask about something else. What happened since the Mandalorian Wars? Well, apparently Revan escaped the Jedi and went to finish Malek, and that was the end of the Jedi Civil War. Wait, but I thought the start of the Civil War was the end of the game. Otherwise, how can the line make sense? Jedi blamed the teachings of the Jedi Masters for Revan's fall. Revan's fall only happened after the Jedis did not help in the Mandalorian Wars. I am confused. Okay, maybe the Jedi Civil War is the whole events after the Mandalorian War up to the end of the first game. That is my headcanon right now. If you are watching this without having watched the first one, first things first, why? What are you doing here, are you lost? Secondly, you should probably watch that first, as I won't be able to get into much detail about the story of the first game. Right, so after defeating Malek, Revan apparently left the Republic and his whereabouts are unknown. But the funny thing is, the Jedi Civil War isn't the only war that happened, as apparently the Sith basically did the same thing and reduced Korriban to ruins, and that planted a thought seed in my mind that shall bloom in a bit. So what ended up happening, instead of the Jedis fighting Siths and the Siths fighting Jedis, the Jedis ended up fighting Jedis and the Siths fight Siths. One thing that I started noticing regarding Kreia is that she is not speaking like a Jedi. She talks about the Republic as having stopped learning due to the lack of conflicts they had, and at the heart of that was the Jedi Order. With the Jedi Order being done, she wonders if the Republic can survive. That is not something a Jedi would say, and I don't mind it. And I think it was at this point that I realized the more dark side points I gathered, the more I look like a Sith with these veins going around the eyes and the skin becoming paler. I do wonder if this is explained in any shape or form in the Star Wars lore, as I don't think it was in this game. Maybe one of you guys can explain this? In the previous video you had a lot of awesome tidbits of information that blew my mind, such as Revan wearing the mask for the whole duration of the Mandalorian Wars, explaining why people would not know his face. With that said, after talking to Atan that was pretending to work, I continued the adventure as the navigation panel opened up and I could travel to 2 different planets. The first option is the planet of 1000 subscribers. Now unfortunately, due to blowing up Peragus, I have no more fuel, so I might need your help to get there. It's not too far now. On a serious note, the only planet I can get to is Telos, so I choose to do that. And as soon as we land, I get a glimpse of this mysterious someone with a very cool design, with silver clothes and a silver hair. That's all I could tell about her, for now. Why are we here? I honestly had no idea, but they decided to imprison us. Your death shall not be swift, General. Before I do that, there's a traitor amongst that group that seems to have chosen money over whatever the other guy's reason for imprisoning us was. He chose to kill us because apparently the exchange has a bounty on the Jedis. To prove him he doesn't need to kill us because we are not Jedis, I decide to kill him instead. Yeah, I'm not a Jedi, I'm a Sith now, get your terminology correct. Right, and because we took care of this traitor, they decide to let us roam free on this planet. Yay! Look how happy my character is because of it. When talking about this planet, I want you to keep in mind one thing. I'm the type of person that buys the food, opens it and throws the package only to realize 5 minutes into cooking that I need it for instructions. That is to say that I'm quite bad at paying attention to details. Why am I saying this? Well, because I'm sure a lot of important things happened on this planet, but since I found out that Korriban might be a place I can go to, I was really eager to just finish off with this planet and go there. But let's see. So this planet seems to be a planet that the Republic is trying to restore, as it was destroyed after the Jedi Civil War. The funds they sent to people to restore the planet was not out of their kindness, but also to gain influence. If they manage to rebuild the planet destroyed by the war, other planets will start trusting the Republic again, and as such they'll gain more influence. The issues began once they expanded the project more than their policing force was able to keep up with, as our good old enemy from the first game, Cherka Corporation, came in to do the policing. However, now that they started doing that, I guess they basically went, hold up a minute, why help when we can just take over this planet? We get to choose if we want to help the Restorationists or the Cherka Corporation. What do I choose? Well, initially I started helping with the restoration, but found out that the Cherka Corporation hired some exchange gunmen to assassinate a droid that was important for that cause. And that led me to this pub owner that said she can help me get the exchange off my back if I help her get rid of the current leader, and I thought to myself, you know what? That sounds like an evil thing to do. I'm in. But then I got to their offices and realized, wait, I can betray both of them, so why shouldn't I? Look at me, I'm the leader of the planet now. And to prove how evil I am, on my way out, I also took out the receptionist for absolutely no reason.
Our psychotic urge is all that drives you.
Get off your high horses, Kreia. I have it on the record that you also attacked her. Let's roll it back a few seconds. To those of you that are watching this, you be the judges of this. Is Kreia also guilty or no? Funniest part is I basically tell her to piss off, which gained the influence with Atan. Ha. Now this did get me to really consider that my actions as a Sith properly influenced my companions as well.
Don't know what even came over me. 1 second we were
I'm
just
going
standing
down
there
and
talking,
pulling everyone
then...
with me.
I am not speaking.
I guess I have to show you another part as well. I was trying to delay it as much as possible, but I have to. So you remember how I told you that in my first game I utterly failed at Pazak? Well, a lot of you lovely people tried to explain it to me, and I got quite confident because with all that explanation it sounded easier. It's basically blackjack, but you can also subtract from the total. Easy, let's try it. Pazak, the Revenge of the Sith. Failed. Hold on, that was just a warming up round. Failed again. No, okay, wait, I didn't have the monitor turned on. Maybe it's not meant to be, guys. Let's just pretend together that Pazak doesn't exist in the Star Wars universe. Say it together with me. Pazak doesn't exist in the Star Wars universe. So, because there is no side card game in this universe, I had to just continue with the main mission. I rescued the restoration main guy from an assault, which was not the most Sith thing to do, but I did start gaining a taste of the Sith powers as I started abusing the lightning to get rid of the enemies. And after I did that, I escaped the Telos station and took the shuttle to the restoration zone. Oh yeah, we also met with this Iridonian guy that made me realize that Darth Maul was not a human and it was a whole alien race. But we'll let him talk about what's been happening whilst I'll tell you the actual important thing. When I first got to this planet, they took all my items. And I kept waiting and waiting for them to give them back to me, but they never did, and now that we crash landed on the actual planet, I was even further from them than before. And I think this created a few issues for me, which you'll see in a moment, but for now, back to this guy, Bao-Dur. He is a mechanic that helped in the Mandalorian War and was actually under my command. What were the chances I'd meet him? The Force works in mysterious ways. On this planet, for some reason, I encountered a few issues with the game mechanics, and I'm not entirely sure why it was specifically here. I'm quite curious if any of you guys had a similar experience on this planet, or if it's literally just because I forgot my items. Number 1. The companions are really eager to fight. So I get through the first group of enemies, but I'm left without any mana, force energy, so I need to wait.
Let us end this.
My companions don't think that is necessary as Kreia just goes, let us end this. Okay, fine, let's finish this one and retreat. Or I guess not, as we engage with a lot more enemies and just get defeated. Fine, let's try again. We defeat the first group and back up to get ready for the next one. I then want to take on the next one who is alone, and the moment I finish him, they go for the next ones, which are too much for us again. Look, I turn on solo mode and attack this one alone, and Kreia decides to join in and attack the next group after. Kreia, stop, come back. I need to switch to my main character now before he attacks. Wait, not Bao-Dur, now Kreia's going back to attack, and now my character is attacking too. This feels as if you would have to take care of 3 children that each run into different directions. If they would at least be useful, I'll be fine. Which brings me to my second issue. I am not convinced the companions are too useful. At least not the ones that don't use the Force. So it seems to me that the companions just do normal attacks. They don't do any special powers or buff you or anything. The only thing they eventually helped me with was with healing powers. That's it. And I might have complained about this in the previous game as well, I don't really remember. I'm sure there was a way to fix this, but throughout my playthrough I could not find it. Surprisingly though, I don't think I had too many issues besides this one region, and again, I have no idea why. Regardless, we find another shuttle and escape again to the polar region. And crash land again on top of this mountain, but find a way inside, so I go there and... Wait, I forgot about the engineer. I mean, screw you guy, I don't need weaklings. I think I spent half of this game stuck inside different cells, honestly. Why are we inside one now? No idea, but what's more important is this conversation between Nathan and Kreia. So Kreia says this place looks like a Jedi Academy ground and seems to know the boss of the silver-haired woman, as she is called Atris. And when Nathan goes like,
Atris?
her reply is Nanya. So when Nathan goes like, Nanya?
It's none of your concern.
None of your business. Great, thanks for being helpful, Kreia. To make things worse, she invades Athan's mind and discovers something about him whilst he's struggling. She also threatens him to the point of saying if he disobeys her, he will beg for death. Jesus Christ, Kreia, you are ruthless and a horrible person, and... Can you tell me what you found out?
It's none of your concern.
I guess not. One thing I started to notice about this game is that it feels like there are so many more details that need to be discussed. Interestingly enough, I feel like there's way more than the previous game. Like, I'm 10 pages in at this point in the script and we barely covered the first 2 planets. Now, the reason why we arrived on this planet, or at least the reason why Kreia thinks we arrived on this planet, is to resolve a conflict from our past. Atris here seems to be the leader of these fighters that look alike, and they are called Ekani? I wonder if these Echanids are canon to Star Wars. But yeah, Atris used to be a part of the Jedi Council, and maybe our lover? So as a Sith, we must get rid of her. Unfortunately, that is not possible at the moment it seems, as she says we are trapped in this planet until we get to our trial. Two lines of dialogue later though, she says we can leave, so we do that. And recruit the silver-haired woman in our party. Back to the ship, Kreia confirms that she started off as a Jedi but then turned to the dark side and even said, "The greatest Sith Lords learned from me." Well, within this lifetime, one of the greatest Sith Lords was Revan, right? So she's Revan's teacher, right? Not only him though, as we get a cutscene where we see two other Sith Lords under her. And these Sith Lords did what Sith Lords do. They took down their own master and oh my god, she's getting a proper beating and this is brutal. I then talked a bit with the companions and got curious to talk to this Echani as well. She seems to remember teachings where it was said to her that Revan's body became a mirror to their dark side within them, and I think she's scared that my features started resembling that too. I see nothing wrong. But enough of these talks. With the data hologram gathered earlier, we gathered enough intel, I think, to learn where the other Jedis from the Council are hiding. The Jedis that exiled us. So we have one goal now. Destroy all of them. Which planet do I choose? Korriban, of course. I want a Sith lightsaber. An interesting thing about the Korriban planet is that we land on the complete opposite side of the place we landed in the first game. This is explained, I think, by the fact that the place is now ruined following the Sith fighting each other. So, despite the warnings from Kreia, I loot a body on this planet and get attacked by these powerful enemies. I defeat them though, but just barely, so I have to heal. So I try to use the shortcut to return to the Ebon Hawk just like the first game in order to heal. And I can't. You cannot teleport back to the Ebon Hawk in this game? Oh, that's sad, I really like that feature. So I have to return manually and there's an intruder. Let's fight her. Wait, she's really strong. How am I to defeat her? I know. It's the perfect opportunity for me to use the mines. I'll run really far and start placing them. Ah, she stopped chasing me, I can heal and shield up. Round 2. Missing every attack. That is not good. You know what, I'll run again and lure her into the mines I placed earlier. And she's defeated. Who is she? Our next companion, of course. Her master, one of the Sith Lords we saw earlier, the Phantom of the Opera Sith Lord, commanded her to come and defeat us. Instead, she chooses to join us and I put all my trust in her that she won't betray us. She seems to be a Miraluka. A race that has no vision but can see the Force.
Yes?
As she doesn't need eyes, she's covering them, and that got me theorizing. Huh. Would Kreia be one of them? She's also covering her eyes. Her planet apparently was destroyed and she says there were not a lot of survivors, I think. Honestly, I'm not sure I ever found out if Kreia is a Miraluka too, but I think she is, right? I can't remember where I found this out, but apparently Korriban fell 5 years ago, which gave me the exact timeline of this game. 10 years ago the Mandalorian Wars happened and 5 years ago Revan came here and left the planet in ruins. Okay, I think that's it. So this game happens 5 years after the first one. Now, one issue I found on this planet was the healing. In the first game, if you entered the Ebon Hawk, it would heal you fully, but this game does not have that. So I had to just wait until the characters healed after every fight. Later on, I did teach some of the Force-capable characters to use the Force heal, which made things a lot easier, but on this planet I did nothing to do that, so it was a bit of a struggle. Back to the game though, after we go through the ruined academy, we encounter the Sith Lord Sion again, who says,
"She clings to hope that perhaps she can train one as great as her first."
She is Revan's teacher, isn't she? I'm pretty sure I could have defeated him, but Kreia was adamant that we should run away, so we run away.
He is not a beast of flesh and blood. This is not a battle that can be won. Flee.
And end up in a tomb alone where we meet with... Wait, is this Malek? Is this a vision of the past? I see Bastila here, yeah, it is a vision of the past. Honestly, what Malek says here makes a lot of sense. Still, we have to fight this vision of the past Malek and defeat him to progress, which we do. And then we have to go through more visions of the Mandalorian Wars and defeat more vision enemies. And then we get to an interesting one. Kreia, but looking like a Sith. Ah, I see, another vision. So throughout this whole tomb, once I realized they were just visions, I didn't really care what answers I gave, because in my head I went, they're just visions, this is pointless. So when she asked me to choose between her on the dark side and my companions, I basically went, I don't care which. And she actually reprimanded me for it. Not only her, all of the visions of the companions.
Apathy is death.
Apathy is death.
Apathy is apathy.
Apathy is death. So I need to talk about this part a bit. When I played through this, I really did not think much of this scene. I was like, yeah, whatever. And after I finished the game, I talked about my experience of the game with a friend that is a huge Star Wars fan. And I found it quite weird that they would ask me about this seemingly random scene and what I chose and told me this quote, apathy is death. So I went to revisit the footage knowing all I know about the ending of the game now, and a quote from one of the Dune books came to my mind. The malady of indifference is what destroys many things. Even civilizations die for it. Apathy, yes. Could I have set myself up for this from the start of the game? At the time of playing this part, that was literally me. Indifferent. Indifferent because I set my mind up to being a Sith Lord, and as such, all the choices I had were predetermined. I only had to choose the worst possible choice. But because of that, I might have distanced myself from what happened to my companions. Something I may have not done if I allowed myself to have more complex answers. And so, apathy got to me. Could this have been my downfall? But I'm getting ahead of myself. I get to the end of the tomb, find Ludocresh's sword, which I guess was one of the best sword masters, and I get ready to leave. I didn't really use this Ludocresh sword for myself though, because I got to the Ebon Hawk and I was able to build myself my first lightsaber. Yeah. And so onwards we go. Let's see what happens on Dantooine. I land here, talk to a new alien race, a monkey alien, and... pause. I completely forgot to take my items from the station, didn't I? Backtrack time. Got back my items, and as a bonus I got to repair one of the droids that was for some reason located on the Ebon Hawk. And it's HK-47. The same robot from the first game. And some of you will be really happy to hear that in this game I actually used him. I am a meatbag, yes, but I learned from my mistakes. I also notice a cool thing here. So this game has a light, dark side bar where every action you take can put you more towards the light or the dark side. I also realized that this has an impact on the force powers you use. The more dark side you are, the more energy it takes to use light powers, but also the less energy it takes to use dark side powers. And after talking to the robot, I realized that I am so far gone in the dark side that I'm beyond the bar. And so now with all that done, you think I'd go back to Dantooine, right? Wrong. I got distracted because somewhere along the lines I found a datapad that revealed another planet, a droid planet, and I may have some controversial opinions about this planet. Well, I don't know if they're controversial actually, you tell me. So to begin with, I noticed that this planet is missing a lot of textures, and I mean a lot. It doesn't even have a skybox. It was at this point I remembered, wait, I'm playing with a mod that restored some content that was unfinished, am I not? This has to be one of the parts that was unfinished. Can someone confirm this? And I'm saying I might be controversial because if it is part of the restored mod content, I don't want to be too harsh on this planet. The modders have done their best and I do appreciate how much effort it must have taken to go through this. But my god, was this planet an absolute drag. Unlike the other planets where things you have to do are more interesting, this planet mainly only had back and forth missions. Oh, go talk to this guy at the start of the map. You go there and they're like, oh, go talk to the other guy at the end of the map. And it was not once, twice, or 3 times. It was constantly this. I must have spent 4 hours on this planet and it was the least amount of fun I had in this game, and it's not even close. There are a few highlights in here though. Firstly, I don't think I was supposed to be on this planet this early. Every enemy here was really hard to deal with. I spent hours trying to defeat some robots, but they seemed impossible to deal with. I almost gave up, telling myself I'll just have to return once I leveled up some more, but I didn't. I kept struggling. Taking one down, then going back and heal, then take them one by one, and I managed to do it. It wasn't the end of it though, as I barely found the Padawan and defeated them. The Jedi Master on this planet that exiled me was still somewhere. Secondly, before I got to the Jedi Master, I discovered a speedrun strategy. I think. So as I was trying to complete a puzzle, I randomly quick-saved as I was moving forward and my character just got propelled forward instantly and I was like, wait, what just happened? So I fool around it a bit and feel very powerful with this knowledge. And soon after it stops working. Never mind then. Also, I'm not really serious when I say it's a speedrun strategy, as this game does not have a lot of long corridors where it could be helpful. Besides this planet. I am a bit salty, I only learned how to do this now that I'm almost done with it, but I wasn't fully done with it. For that we need to defeat the Jedi Master. And it makes us go inside alone. Oh dear. Yeah, I tried fighting her a few times, but for this one I'm not even close to defeating her. Absolutely no chance. I'm not even scratching her. And this is where I gave up on the planet for now. I could have chosen the light side, which would have meant I wouldn't have to fight her, but no. She must pay for what she's done. So let's reload to an earlier save, because I'm stuck in this room, and off to Dantooine we go. Dantooine is another planet that was ravaged by the war. From what I understand, because of the Jedi Enclave being located here, it was the prime target for the Sith to destroy it. And this actually happened in the first game. As such, people on this planet hate the Jedis. Yeah, high five, I'm with you on this one. Now on this planet, we meet with this historian who tells us a few interesting things. When discussing Revan, he says that Revan had a lot of masters, but towards the end of the training, he sought out his first master in order to learn how to leave the Order. Guys, I'm not completely misunderstanding this, right? He returned to Kreia. Moving on though, this planet seems to have a civil war brewing, as mercenaries in the exchange are planning to take over the main hub. Now that sounds like something a Sith Lord would like to do. And I even get to meet the leader of the rebellion, who decides to attack me. And he runs away.
You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
And so we get back to the main hub and pretend we want to help them whilst hacking the droids to attack the allies. Good, preparations are ready. Let the invasion begin. Wait, I'm not prepared, no one told me they would use T-poses. And so I see the leader of the rebellion in the background and I think to myself, okay, maybe I'll have a chance to talk to him again to tell him I'm on his side. Nope, if I get too far I fail the mission. Never mind. We get inside the main hub though and he appears there too. And acts as if we didn't just meet each other 5 minutes ago. We are so alike. He has the same capacity at memorizing things as me. We will be besties. Not before I can get rid of the Jedi. Let's go, team. Team? Hello? Why are you guys just standing there and watch? Oh, this guy is way too strong and he also heals. How am I meant to defeat him? He heals more than I deal damage with my most powerful move. I need to reload this. And I fight him and lose again. Let's reload again. This time I saved at the start of the fight so I don't have to go through the dialogue constantly. I do this a few times and weirdly enough at one point when I reload he almost gets half HP from the start of the fight. That's weird, I didn't attack him at all. And it was still not enough. Okay, time to change strategies. I have to fight him a bit and run around and heal. I'm a Sith, okay? I'm allowed to fight dirty. And he goes down. The best part about this is that I get to choose a subclass. I can either be a Sith Marauder, a Sith Assassin, or a Sith Lord. That's right everyone, I officially became a Sith Lord. That makes me wonder what the options are for Jedis though. And I also gain a few powerful feats and even a new power. Crush opposition. On to the next planet though. Time to go to Onderon. Is what I would like to say, but instead we get chased off to a moon of this Onderon planet, Dixon. Everyone asks what is Dixon, but no one asks how is Dixon. I found out that Dixon is, I guess, the planet where the Mandalorians seem to be hiding, and also where the Mandalorian War started, I think. And on this Mandalorian planet I realized I had a big issue with the game. I like too many characters. Unlike the previous game, I feel like for this one I like most of the characters beside the small robot, for now. I would like to play with Visas, I would like to play with the silver-haired woman, I would like to play with HK-47, but I can't play with everyone. And so I had to make a tough choice. I had to choose to mostly focus on the ones that I thought were aligned with the dark side. HK-47 and Visas. And as we advance through this Mandalorian planet, we run away from the Onderon military who is currently looking for us, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if we can recruit Karth. Up until now I've only seen his hologram, but he's a commander now, surely we cannot recruit him. But there's still quite a few spots for people to recruit, so who am I going to recruit? I think at this point in the previous game all the slots would have been filled by now. Maybe I'll recruit a Mandalorian here? This got me excited. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll recruit the Mandalorian from the previous game. And my hopes for this were quite shattered, as I finished some of the quests for the Mandalorian leader of this planet and we recruit him. Mandalore. Okay, fine, I guess you'll do. One interesting thing I found though about Mandalorians was that this guy's whole idea is to rebuild the Mandalorian Empire, as after the Mandalorian Wars their empire was destroyed. All that was left was a few Mandalorians here and there. And at one point Kreia tells this Mandalore guy that won't be possible, and chances are that in some centuries ahead there won't be much Mandalorians left around anyway. And this got me thinking. I assume in the movies the Mandalorians are not an empire anymore. Just a few rogue bounty hunters like Jango Fett and Boba Fett. That is just a speculation, but maybe Kreia was right? It does make me wonder what makes a Mandalorian in that case. I see their armor, but it has to be more than that. Also, how do they reproduce? I've not seen a Mandalorian woman. Anyway, so after an assault from the Sith and the Mandalorian leader recruited, we take a shuttle back to the planet, Onderon. And on this planet, the power struggle continues as two forces seem to be fighting for power. On the light side, there is this princess with the Jedi Master we need to hunt. On the opposite side, there is this army leader that thinks he can do better. I get to choose who to help, and of course I choose the army leader as I need to take down the Jedi Master. I found an interaction funny where Mandalore, the Mandalorian leader, said he doesn't want the Jedi destroyed because Sith would not allow his people to have power. Poor soul might have joined the wrong guy. So a few things happen here and there, we get rid of some important people in order to prepare the battle for a coup d'etat, and we are asked to leave only to return when everything is ready. Alright then, I guess we're getting kicked out. Next planet it is. I do wonder how many of these planets are original and how many are from the Star Wars movies. In the previous game I feel like there were a lot more planets I did hear about, like Kashyyyk or Tatooine. However, in this one, not sure. If I had to guess, Nar Shaddaa sounds like one of the planets that are found in the Star Wars universe. When it comes to what exactly Nar Shaddaa is, I think I would describe it as the place where all the lawless gather. This seems to be the hub spot for all criminals, and it is no better shown than in this interaction. As I explore the planet, I encounter these thugs trying to get some money they loaned to a guy back. I guess they're loan lizards? And the bastard blames it on me, saying I have his money. And I instantly think, please tell me it's possible to ask them to give me their money. Not only that it's possible, but I ask them to give me their credits and then jump down in the central pit. And the HK-47 robot liked this.
Statement. Master, there are times when your actions make my behavior.
I love it. Soon after we get to meet this Wookiee, and it made me realize, wait, we didn't recruit any Wookiees yet. Maybe I'll recruit him. Hanhar. Need to remember his name. Right, so as I continued exploring, I got to this moment that made me feel proud. I meet up with this guy who is telling me things that might be quite important to the story. There is a huge signal coming on this planet, but he finds it weird because the signal can cover the whole planet, and as he was dropping all of these foreshadowing tidbits, I ignored it completely. Why? Because he gave me a quest to meet with a Twi'lek, and I thought to myself, wait, I know these guys. They are the tentacle alien race, aren't they? I feel like slowly but surely I'm learning about the Star Wars universe. I would count that as a level up, but I need your guys' opinion on this. What do you think? Now, on this planet I realized something. I think I was indeed supposed to only go to the robot planet later, as all the enemies here possessed absolutely no threat to me. Look at them trying. Weaklings, I just finished a training arc on a droid planet. I have trained in a harsher environment than your puny minds could ever comprehend. Well, that and I realized another thing. So my understanding from you guys was that KOTOR 1 was canon, but then it stopped being canon, but now it's canon again, but with an asterisk. So it is canon. But can the events of KOTOR 2 ever become canon? So whilst, yes, Revan, Malek, Karth, Bastila and the other companions might be canon, is my character canon? Is Kreia canon? Am I canon? Anyone? And as I was battling with these thoughts, my companion were battling with something else. Ebon Hawk got invaded by bounty hunters. To make things worse, Kreia seemed to have wanted this to happen. We also get this character entering too, wanting to take over the ship, and my initial reaction was, oh, this is the Mandalorian from KOTOR 1. I mean, he has to be. He says, it's good to be back, old girl. And he claims to be the owner of it. And he even looks like him, I think. Wait, what was his name? People will hate me if I really forgot his name. Let me try to remember. Cavendish? No, that's not it, but it was close. Candace? No, that's Phineas and Ferb. Maybe I'm thinking of Karth. I really can't remember. Anyway, I don't think it was him because he just got knocked out by these bounty hunters. Yeah, that was confusing. Where was I? Ah, yes, I was trying to reclaim my ship. As you can see, I am quite powerful at this point. The Force Lightning is absolutely fantastic. Don't hold your breath about me not being confused anymore, because I'm about to get way more confused. So after having defeated 2 dominatrixes with Aten, yeah, I used everything in my arsenal to do that. A series of events got me really confused. Let me introduce the main players for this stage. Hanhar, a Wookiee that seems to dislike his human even though he pledged his life for her. Mira, the human who saved the Wookiee. KOTOR, the leader of the exchange, I think? This tentacle dude, the wannabe leader of the exchange. That should be all. Let's start. The tentacle guy betrayed Goto by teaming with another fat alien that looks like the fat alien from the Star Wars movie. He also teamed up with Hanhar in hopes they take Goto down. But then the Wookiee came to us telling us he betrayed the tentacle guy and wants to kill him. And as we meet with the tentacle guy, we found out he didn't betray him, meaning Hanhar betrayed us. So then we cut to Mira, who meets up with the tentacle guy and is being betrayed by Hanhar, so she gets captured. After she wakes up, she realizes that Hanhar betrayed her, so we play as Hanhar and have to kill her. But after we betray her, the tentacle guy betrays us and wants Hanhar dead as well. So now Hanhar just wants to escape. And as he escapes, he helps our character reach the tentacle guy, only for the tentacle guy to find out that Goto actually betrayed him from the very start and the troops turn on him to take him out. Before Hanhar escapes though, he meets with his Jedi Master and almost gets killed by him. But wait, Kreia saved him, so now he has a life debt to her. And Kreia seems to betray our character a bit because she asks the Wookiee to pretend he is our servant until further notice. Got all that? Yeah, me either. Let's move on. Who is going to betray who now? Plans within plans within plans. I love Hanhar though, he is a beast. Quite literally, but also figuratively. He is really tanky. Moving on though, all hell breaks loose as all gloves are off, so the whole bounty hunter community is trying to take us down. And I don't even get to play with my character. So after I make it out of Nar Shaddaa, I found out the reason. My character was taken aboard Goto's main ship and is now talking to his hologram. Now this Goto guy seems to not be on either side, Jedi or Sith. He in fact does not want either to win because his business can only work if both sides keep fighting. He also says that the explosion on Peragus broke the galaxy. Oh, and I find whoever did this. And also that the Republic might just collapse in a month if we don't do anything. Okay, so I won't do anything then? But yeah, he is keeping our character prisoner, meaning we have to save ourselves with our companions. So I choose Hanhar because he is tanky and Visas because, yep, sure. As I started though, I think I did something very stupid. This whole place is filled with droids. No humans here at the moment. So I had to go through waves and waves of them. At the start, there was a console I could access, and so I did. And I pressed upgrade the droid combat algorithms, and just wrote in my notes, did I just use the terminal to upgrade the capabilities of the droids? Why did I do that? I have no idea past me. Eventually though, we did encounter living things as the bounty hunters came after me. Barely an inconvenience. I did notice that they seem to be of this new alien race. Guns. They look like mini Sandmen. So after we get past every obstacle and we rescue myself, I get back to the ship only to find out that one of KOTOR's droids infiltrated the ship. But it's all good though, because he also wants to join the party. Yay, we recruited the mini Death Star. Now, one thing I did not mention earlier but I realized around now is that I got an achievement for having Hanhar join the group. But only 8% of the people who play this game got it. Earlier on I had a suspicion that if I went for the light side I would have recruited Mira instead of Hanhar, and this made it even more plausible for me. Right, time to go back to Nar Shaddaa and finish the Jedi Master. Let's see if we can get anything out of him before. So the Jedi Master asked me why I did this to the Jedi, for revenge or something more. And the only choices I have are 1. I'm not the one doing it, 2. What do you mean? And 3. Do you think I'm the one killing the Jedi? Am I missing something here, guys? I literally went on a killing spree adventuring the whole galaxy to take my revenge. Why is my character ignoring that? I guess I'll go for what do you mean? Also, if I actually wasn't the one killing the Jedis, why would he gaslight me saying, "You're more to blame than you know"? We just don't know how, but we exiled you because we knew you played a role. Are you a gaslight saber master? He confuses me even more as he continues. The last gathering of the Jedis was on Miraluka, where it got destroyed as soon as they gathered. So there is a greater force hidden in the shadows hunting down Jedis, I think. And past me was quite oblivious, cause I was thinking, I guess he's referring to all the Jedis that have been hunted down in the past since Malek got defeated. When my character was exiled, there were only 100 left, and so instead someone has been taking them out. I wrote in my notes, I mean, I can't see how this could be too plot twisty. Just some Siths hunting down Jedis? Now that I finished the game, I realize that is not accurate. There does seem to be a big threat looming over the galaxy, as Kreia said, but I mean, I might as well say it now, but even after I finished the game, I could not find what this threat is. I do wonder if it's something from the movies, and if not, if I'll ever find out what it is. But enough of it, I take him down and leave the planet, only to get informed that the Onderon rebellion is starting, and so we can finally join. So, what's the plan? I have no clue, let's go to Dixon to find out.
Incoming transmission. We are to pull a Scooby-Doo and split up the gang.
Apparently Dixon has a Sith tomb and some Sith Lords have taken it as a base of operation. From there, they are making it harder for the rebellion to succeed. Why? I have no idea. But that means we need to split up in 2 groups. One that will go take down the Sith tomb and the other one that will go to the Onderon planet. Let's start with the Sith tomb. It's located in the pyramid and protected by lots of Siths, and because neither of the party members I chose had Force Heal, it was quite difficult. I don't think I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for Hanhar being so tanky. I did find Darth Malak's armor though, and don't be fooled to think I found it in a treasure inside the pyramids, as maybe that's his tomb now. No, I found it outside in a random chest. The tomb is actually the tomb of Freedon Nad. I don't know who he is though. Maybe they were mentioned, but I forgot to be honest with you. Maybe one of you guys can help with that? Anyway, with that out of the way, time to assemble the team for the rebellion. This will be interesting as we have a full party now. Let's go with Kreia and HK-47. And we land on Onderon using an interesting ship. I have this strong feeling that the fanbase was made really happy that this ship was used. A basilisk. I'm 100% sure this is part of the Star Wars universe. I think it's the starships that the Mandalorians use. Anyway, we fight through tons of enemies. I don't think I've seen more enemies than in this region in either one of the games before. And that's great. This allowed me to properly feel like a Sith Lord. Because it doesn't matter how many enemies there are, I feel unstoppable using the Sith powers. They need more than one army to stop me. Because these guys were so easy to take out, it gave me time to think about the story so far. What do I think is happening? Well, our character is a general from the Mandalorian War. I don't think there's any misdirection with that, we are not Revan this time. But after Malek was defeated, Revan disappeared. Somewhere. I mean, we saw Karth, surely he would know more about where Revan would be. He was his first companion. Or maybe Kreia would know more. She seems to be the one who trained Revan. Surely Revan is not dead, right? He will appear, I guess. Would be really weird if he wouldn't, but Karth does. I see no reason for the story to progress that way. So maybe the masked phantom on the loading menu is Revan? Sort of a ghost as he disappeared? No, that can't be right. Oh my god, did I just use Destroy Droid for the mines? You can do that? I didn't know you could do that, that is awesome. Doesn't matter though, because Kreia likes the mines so much that she just rushes through them like there's no tomorrow for her. Anyway, we reach the palace grounds where we get to fight a Drexel larva, which implies there's a Drexel adult as well. He's not too much of a threat either, so maybe the Jedi Master is? Haha, he thinks he can take me down. Ooh, you may be powerful, but I have a power you will never be able to achieve. The power of leveling up in order to heal to full health. And with him down, we just need to take the princess down too, and... how is she harder to take down than the Jedi? I hope she's worth. She wasn't. It doesn't matter, I guess we're done here. And as I return to the Ebon Hawk to go to the last Jedi Master, I realize something. And I swear I had no idea what's to come, but I was thinking to myself, Ebon Hawk is starting to grow on me, you know? I hope nothing happens to it. Why did I say that? Did I really have to? Yeah, I don't know. Let's go back to the droid planet to take down the Jedi Master. And as I do that, I guess I forgot to tell you the whole story of this planet. This planet seems to be a droid factory where the droids who were put in charge to keep building other droids were lied to by the Sith, as they said they were the ones who they were waiting for. The settlers. But as I came there and finished all the quests, including taking down this Jedi Master, I went through an absolutely pointless cutscene and became the leader of this planet. I wonder if this planet is canon too. Maybe this is where all the droids would end up being built in the future? Although the droids from the movies look quite different. With almost all the Jedi's taken out now, Kreia is asking us to go to Dantooine, to the ruins of the Jedi Enclave where we shall find all the answers we seek. Before I go there though, I wanted to seek some answers from Matan. So I tried to press him on what is the secret he was hiding. What did he do in the past? And instead of getting anything out of him, he gets angry because he never asked me about my past. And he seems really angry with Jedis. And you know what? He's kind of right. Yeah, Atan, keep spitting facts. So I failed to find out about his past. Let's go to Dantooine to find out about mine and what the hell is happening. And in here, I feel like there were so many details thrown out that it was quite hard to follow. But here's what I understood at the time. Kreia is saying that when you as a Jedi have companions following you, you create a connection with them, and when that connection is severed with one, say for example when someone dies, it also pains you. But when there are multiple at one time, the pain is too great. Which is what happened at the Mandalorian Wars during the last battle. Too many Jedis lost their lives, and that's why our character lost their force power. And this is where the proper confusion started. I think she implies that planets feel it too, or the population of the planet. And when it causes a lot of this pain, it can amplify and kill anyone who hears the echoes of the scream. I'm so lost. So are the Sith trying to create this ripple effect for the whole galaxy? Maybe? Visa's master has learned this dangerous technique that has been lost since ancient Sith and perhaps became even more dangerous and more powerful than before. So Kreia wants this Sith to be exterminated as they are too much of a threat for everything. I want to learn that. And then she asks me a question. By killing this Jedi, have I achieved any measure of peace? My answer was of course not. There is someone who we haven't taken down yet. Atris. Now, for those of you who haven't played the game, what do you think a normal response would be to this? Well, you're wrong. She just stabs herself.
What?
Which almost kills us because we are bonded with her. She told me I failed her. Kreia, all I wanted were answers. I was really confused about all of this. She proceeds to get up and then just leaves. She apparently wants to meet with Atris as she wants to talk to her, so time to chase after her, I guess. And as I went back to the Ebon Hawk, Visas confesses to me, so I guess we also have romance in this game? So it's time for a romance scene. Or maybe they just stare at each other? I don't know, it's unclear. From this point though, a lot of things happen, so I'll start with Kreia. I got even more confused because Kreia said that she was here when the exile, our character, was brought to trial. Apparently she was the one who ordered the exile to be exiled? To which Atris said, I did as you asked, so long ago. But then literally her next voice line is,
You seem familiar to me.
am I going insane or this doesn't make too much sense? Then she says,
You are that which has attacked the Jedi. You are Sith.
Guys, what is even happening at this point? Her Sith Lord name was Darth Treya, but she cast that title away and found a new purpose. But there must always be a Darth Treya. What? To make things even worse, our companion arrives and tells her sister Atris has been touched by the Sith. I'm sorry, how do you know that? What did she do that was so bad? To which the sisters decide it's time to attack her, and we get given two options. 1. Take them out without killing them, or 2. Kill them. The way I did this was, I haven't used her in a long time, so she had a lot of levels to catch up with. As such, whenever she'd get low HP, I just level her up one by one. Fantastic. The only issue is that after I defeated them, I had to fight Atris, who had Sith powers. Ah, that's how she was touched by the Sith. But that still doesn't explain what did she do that was so bad. I feel like I'm missing some context here. Not that it matters, as killing her will bring me to the dark side and... Wait, is she jealous of her?
Did you look upon him with love?
Luckily she is only incapacitated as my character finally arrived and... Just look at this force power I gained. The crush. She literally stands no chance against it. You can run but you can't hide. Because I killed her though, Kreia called me telepathically to tell me, wow, good job. However, there must always be a Darth Treya, so I must assume that role. Kreia, why are you such a slave to the fate? Carve your own path for once. She then tells us there is two things we must do. 1. One of the Sith Lords have arrived at Telos and we must take them down, and 2. Once we do that we have to meet her somewhere. And it is on that vessel of the Sith Lord that I get my mind blown. A conversation between Mandalore and Visas revealed that Mandalore is actually Canderos. Oh, Canderos, that was his name! Anyway, we get through tons of enemies using the Sith powers and finally get to face the Sith Lord. Of course, before we take him down, we have a chat where I threaten him that I'll blow up the ship, to which they answer...
He doesn't understand.
Wait, how did everyone understand that? Now, as I battle him with the Force Crush power, I can only think of one thing. Man, I really want his armor, or at least his mask. And to my surprise, once we defeat him, Visas agreed, as I tell her to look upon his face and then bring me the mask. All my excitement went down the drain after 1 minute, as I was looking to equip the mask only to realize it's not an equipable item, it's more like a trophy. Why would you do this to me, developers? Oh, you cheeky developers, you're trying to distract me by dropping a bombshell now. Mandalore stated that before leaving, Revan told him that the Mandalorians were merely used as pawns to start the Mandalorian Wars. That there is a power hiding in the shadows. Honestly, I thought this was going to be either this Silitus guy or at least explained by him, but there's nothing explained so far. At this point I was wondering if this huge threat is something that is referenced in the movies. Or maybe there's still hope to find out if we return, as Kreia puts it, where we started. One last thing we need to do before we head there. We have to meet up with Gar to question him about Revan's whereabouts.
Did you find any trace of Revan?
Wait, he's asking me about Revan? Why are you asking me? You should be the one knowing, you tell me. And again, this huge threat is mentioned as Revan apparently went off to find and fight this huge threat and left everyone he cared about behind. Does no one in this game know what this huge threat is? Please, someone tell me. Oh, and by the way, Bastila also shows up, to say 2 lines. Unbelievable. With that being said, time to head off to Malek 5, I guess? Honestly, this detail went past me even though it was repeated so many times, but Malek 5 is the planet where the final battle happened in the Mandalorian Wars, I think? Now, why would Kreia be here? I have so many and we crashed the Ebonhawk. I think we actually wrecked it beyond repair at this point. How are we all gonna get off this planet now? Future me here. We won't have to worry about that too much. Yeah, Kreia goes back to her throne room and becomes the leader again after defeating Sion. And for some reason everyone from the party seemed to have arrived in here before me, even though I think I left first. So first Visas arrives and gets captured by Kreia, and now Atton encounters Sion and I have to fight Sion as Atton? Well, Atton, you had a good run, but there's no way. So I then get to play as my character, and after going through hordes of enemies, I reach the cell of all the party members and get to make a tough choice. Earlier on, Kreia said if I meet her with the party members, I'll just be weaker, so I feel like I must go alone. And the game gave me the option to just kill them. I feel like that makes more sense from a Sith perspective. Okay, let's do it. Weaklings, if you were weak enough to get captured, you shall not be by my side. Onwards we go to meet with Sion, who is easily defeated. Eh? He gets back up. I said he was easily defeated. Sion, did you not hear? He was easily defeated. Okay, maybe not so easily, because I had to defeat him a few times. I did it though, but at what cost though, as I don't have any more levels to level up in my battle against Kreia. But I have learned from the first game. Let's put it in practice. Kreia here seems to hate the Force, or rather that it seems to have a will. She hates that the Force pushes people to reach a balance. It creates both Jedis and Sith just to take each other out. There can never be a time with no Siths, because if all of them are taken out, the Force will just create more to maintain the balance. At least that's what I'm getting from her. Maybe you guys can correct me. And so that's why we are special. We left the Force. We could not feel the Force. Meaning our choices were ours to make. But then she says that she used me to achieve all her goals, so she's not a good person herself. So the last question I had was, why me? To which she replies that there is no surprise. There is no plot twist to this that I might have been expecting. It just is. Okay, Kreia, I've had it with your philosophy. Let us finish this and we can look into it after. The first part of the fight was not too bad, as I managed to run around enough to heal before engaging back into battle. But then her second phase started, where she summoned some lightsabers and sent them to attack me. But I managed to run around again and separate them. Divide et impera. To make things even better for me, I found an angle where she would not attack me anymore and her lightsabers were frozen as well. Give it up, Kreia, I have the low ground. To finish this, I ended up throwing her in the Malek core. And I thought all the companions were dead too, but no, somehow Atton survived. Well, barely, as he's dying now. He just survived long enough to tell me that he doesn't want me to see him die like that and then just dies. Okay. At which point a cutscene zooms out of Malek core 5 to another galaxy and then... the game is done? Wow, well, that was something. Honestly, I feel like I understand why some people are saying they like it even more than Knights of the Old Republic 1. There are some aspects that I feel are much better, especially when it comes to the companions. I'm 100% sure I basically missed everything that there is to learn about the companions, but I still found them quite compelling. A lot more than the first game, in fact. I think one of the reasons I didn't get to explore them too much might have been that I don't know how. I tried talking to them while I was exploring and back at the Ebonhawk, but I never found anything too important. So I always assumed it would come up without me needing to do anything later on in the story. And I kept waiting and waiting until the game ended and I still found mostly nothing about them. Probably only surface level things. Regardless, there's a lot of themes explored here, and even now when I went back through the footage, I'm still not sure I got everything right. Kreia kept being philosophical to the extent that it almost lost its meaning for me at one point. Even so, she grew on me. I think she's meant to represent the balance. She thinks both Jedis and Siths are wrong, but you cannot tip the scale too much into one side. I think that's why she got angry at me, because I went full Sith mode. And she thinks Jedis can become too stuck in their code, even to their detriment, while Siths can be too passionate about their power. That is why she was okay with me going through murdering the Jedis, but then she asked me what I learned from it and I replied that I haven't finished the job, and she got angry saying I have learned nothing. Because the pain I inflicted was too careless. She taught me to use the Force again to show me the contrast, and I still have not understood her teachings. I was her last hope, the only one that could change what is to come, and I failed her. And that's another thing. This thing that is to come that was not explored but hinted at so much in the game. I am only left to assume that this is something that is either explored in the movies or maybe explored in future games. Maybe it was intended for Knights of the Old Republic 3, but I don't think that there is a Knights of the Old Republic 3. I will say what my belief is for now. My belief is that right now we are in the Old Republic era, and what's soon to come is an age of darkness. Another age where Sith rule the galaxy. Surprisingly though, after playing I guess 3 games so far without having seen the movies, I feel like I'm starting to understand more and more about the terminology from the Star Wars universe without having seen the movies. The only issue now is I wonder if I can find something that is as good as these two games, or if it will be only downhill from here. Let me know your suggestion, guys. What game do you think will confuse me the most? With that being said, I believe this is a good place to end this one. If you did enjoy the video, I challenge you to join the ranks of Jedis by grabbing your subscribe saber in order to help me reach the rank of 1000 Jedis, as we need it for the battles that are to come. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!